So the first thing that we're going to be asked to do with slope fields is to draw one. Given a differential equation, we want to draw the slope field of that. And so I'm going to give you an example of it. This is at the top of page 612 in your workbook. And so let's take a look at this example here. Given the differential equation below, we want to compute the slope for each point indicated on the grid to the right. Because remember that we're thinking about dy dx, and dy dx, remember, in calculus language, that's a derivative. The derivative is just the slope of a function at a given x and y value. And so this tells us the slope of the equation at any point in the plane. All right, so we're going to calculate this, and then we're going to make little marks on the field that are going to kind of take the place of the numbers that we would use if this was a connect the dots puzzle. So let's take a look at every point in here. All right, so we'll start with this first point, which is the point -2, 3. So what I want to do is, first thing, I want to figure out what is the slope of a solution to this differential equation that goes through this point. And the answer is right here in the formula. It's x minus 1. So given that the x value of this point is -2, it's -2 minus 1, which is equal to -3. All right, so it's just a little bit of arithmetic there. And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to kind of draw a little small mark through this point that is going to have a slope of -3. All right, so let me give you an example of what I mean there. So here's kind of, I'm going to make this really precise. So -3 would be down 3 and over 1. So it would go like that. And so I want to make just a little line there that's got a slope of -3 that goes through that point. Okay. And now let's take the next point. So this is -1, 3. Same idea there. The slope is equal to x minus 1. So that's -1 minus 1. The slope here is going to be -2. So this time I want something that goes down 2 and over 1. And so it will look something like that. All right. The next point along here is 0, 3. You guys are probably seeing the point at this. All right, so this is going to be 0 minus 1, which is a slope of -1. -1 looks something like that. All right, the next point is 1, 3. That's 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. Slope of 0, I don't even need my ruler for that. It's just going to look something like that. And then the last point on this row is 2, 3, and its slope is going to be 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So here I want to draw a slope of 1 that goes through this point. All right. Now let's do it for the rest of the points. So the next point over here is -2, 2. So what is the slope of the line that goes through this point? Well, it's going to be the same thing we had just here, right? It's going to be -2 minus 1, which is equal to -3. So I just need to draw a line, and I think you can see that the rest of this picture is going to go pretty quickly, because the rest of these points, all of the points in this column, should have a slope of -3. All right, so maybe I'll just eyeball it from here. And the same thing's going on here. Here, every point should have a slope of -2. That maybe wasn't great. Over here, each point should have a slope of -1. In this column, every point has a slope of 0. And at this point, in this column, every point, has a slope of 1. So this is kind of the connect the dots thing that we can see, and it kind of gives you just a snapshot, just a little picture of all of the curves that satisfy this, except just a little window box around each one of the integer points. But if we connect these dots, we can see all of the solutions to the equation. And we'll do that in part 2 of what we're doing. But in the next video, I want you to take a stab at doing this one yourself. Do it in pencil maybe, and then join me in the next video and we will work it out together.